Animal rights advocates and government leaders in Floyd County worked together on an animal abuse ordinance. And we're learning more about a breakthrough between the United Auto Workers and Ford.
Plus, we are tracking a chilly Halloween forecast. Those details on the way as Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Floyd County's newest advancement for animal advocacy is being celebrated for standing up for the underdogs. The animal ordinance, which went into effect countywide last week, aims to provide clear language around the care and control of animals in the area. The new ordinance was crafted by a special board, adding to the language of a Kentucky revised statute that has received pushback from many people in rescue and animal advocacy groups.
We're really blowing it out of the waters here in Kentucky as a whole. Like, this is groundbreaking for animal welfare, for ordinances like this. This is an extremely strict black and white ordinance. It stops the neglect and it stops the cruelty, and you're going to have consequences for your actions.
The ordinance provides clear guidelines for law enforcement to intervene in cases of animal abuse and neglect. Hear more about the new language and its mission coming up at 6.
We are tracking some dry, also mild weather to continue into your Thursday afternoon. Let's take a live look from the WYMT studio. You can see some blue sky, also some mild temperatures in Hazard. That current temperature is 77 degrees, and most of us still in the middle to upper 70s at this hour. Up to 78 for Prestonsburg, 76 in Pikeville, also Clintwood, and 77 a popular number for Jackson, also Manchester, Harlan, and Jonesville at this hour. And those temperatures stay mild as we go into this evening, falling into the upper 60s and lower 70s, and we are watching out for an increase in those clouds as we go into tonight. So lows not as cool as you wake up on Friday, back in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Up on the radar, more dry weather is on the way into this evening, also tonight, all thanks to that strong area of high pressure that is parked off the eastern coast. But we are watching out for some changes as early as tomorrow. Maybe a few spotty rain chances on Friday, also into your Saturday and Sunday, but most of us are dry until Sunday night, also on Monday, all thanks to a stronger cold front. Some more showers on the way by early next week. Also, some chilly weather by Halloween, also into your Wednesday of next week. All those details on the way in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. There's been a breakthrough in the UAW's 41-day-old strike against the big three automakers. The union is telling striking Ford workers to go back to work after the UAW and Ford reached a tentative contract agreement. CBS's Chris Van Cleve reports.
We told Ford to pony up, and they did.
UAW President Shawn Fain delivered a video message to Ford workers late Wednesday, saying their 6 weeks on the picket lines made the tentative agreement possible.
We send this contract to you because we know it breaks records.
Union leaders say the 4.5-year deal includes a 25% wage increase with cost of living adjustments and improvements in retirement benefits as well as job security. Previously, the big three automakers were offering a raise of 23%.
UAW members at Ford will receive more in straight general wage increases over the next 4.5 years than we have over the last 22 years combined.
It's an unambiguous big win for the UAW.
Still, auto economist Patrick Anderson says the economic losses from the strikes are now more than $9 billion and growing.
You know, without question now, GM and Chrysler are going to be pressured to agree to substantially the same terms.
Chris Van Cleve, CBS News.
The UAW says having Ford employees return to the assembly line as the tentative deal is approved will put pressure on GM and Stellantis to match Ford's offer. The Israeli military says its troops and tanks briefly entered northern Gaza overnight, hitting several militant targets as a wider ground incursion looms after more than 2 weeks of war. Israeli airstrikes have devastated parts of the Gaza Strip, leaving neighborhoods in rubble. Gaza hospitals are struggling to treat masses of wounded with diminishing resources. The Hamas-run health ministry said today that more than 7,000 Palestinians have been killed so far in the war, Israeli officials say Hamas's deadly October 7th attack into Israel killed more than 1,400 people.
We have a pressing need for fuel, medical supplies and medicines. Medical personnel have been exhausted at work. They have not left the place of work for 17 days.
Officials from the Pentagon and our allies fear the fighting could spill over and become a wider regional conflict. Coming up on First at 4, the economy seems to be defying what experts have been predicting earlier in the year.
Plus, rain chances look to increase by the weekend, also into next week. Those details on the way after this break.